Beautiful.
Everything was smooth sailing for Tom and Jackie Hawks.
Jackie, hello.
Hi, honey.
They were exploring the world together.
And we got a bunch of dogs.
How would you describe them?
They're the best example one could ever hope for of how couples should treat each other. They were just totally devoted.
The loving couple had worked hard their entire lives. Tom as a probation officer and Jackie as a stepmom to Tom's 2 sons. And when they retired, they bought their dream boat, this 55-foot yacht.
This is Captain Tom Hawks.
Life couldn't have been better on board the Well-Deserved.
They had this beautifully outfitted boat that he'd enhanced in every way. They personally were precious people to talk with.
Judy Waitman and Carter Ford moored their boats near the Hawks in the same upscale harbor in ritzy Newport Beach, California. How much did they love boating life and love being on the water?
They lived on the boat better than most people can live in a house.
The Hawks cruised the most exotic ports of call from California to the Mexican Riviera.
We're on our way to Cabo San Lucas today.
Little did Tom and Jackie know, soon they would be headed into troubled waters.
I'm so glad you could join us on our last voyage on Well-Deserved.
And a dangerous transition they never saw coming.
I'm so glad I got to know them in a lovely time. And I'm so sad for them, their family.
After 2 years of endless vacations, Tom and Jackie's dream is suddenly interrupted in the most wonderful way.
There's Grandpa holding his little grandboy.
They had a new grandbaby in Arizona.
Crime author Caitlin Rother says Tom and Jackie decided to embark on a new journey.
They wanted to get back to Arizona and spend time with this little boy.
Tom and Jackie put their beloved Well-Deserved up for sale. Did they ever talk about selling the boat?
Yes, they had a plan.
The plan, instead of paying a hefty commission to a boat broker, they were going to sell the yacht themselves.
For Tom and Jackie, the savings of that fee was going to be significant in what they would have left. So they advertised in boating magazines.
The Hawks placed this ad in Yachting World magazine, asking $435,000 for the meticulously maintained Well-Deserved. Now, all they needed, a legitimate buyer. And it doesn't take long.
They got interest from a buyer for the Well-Deserved. This buyer, though, was young, 25 years old.
The buyer tells Tom he has cash, lots of it.
This guy said he had made money as a child actor and made some money in real estate.
Initially, Tom, the former probation officer, is skeptical. But then the buyer does something that eases both Tom and Jackie's fears.
He brought his wife is pregnant, and she brought their little baby daughter in a stroller, and that made Jackie and Tom trust them.
The Hawks accept an all-cash offer for their asking price of $435,000 and an additional $15,000 for some personal items. Tom and Jackie celebrate their financial windfall with one last trip on board the Well-Deserved.
This is our last trip to the island because we sold the boat.
But before the deal is officially sealed, the buyer calls with one more request: a sea trial to inspect the hull and to test the motors.
The idea is to take the boat out on a sea trial, and then they're going to come back and finish the deal.
Tom and Jackie expect the buyer and his wife to show up, but this time he has a different crew.
The buyer comes with a young guy, skinny guy, and a much bigger guy who he says is his accountant.
The Hawks are a little suspicious, but agree.
Okay, there's the jetty.
They cautiously navigate their way out of Newport Harbor and into open waters for one final voyage on the Well-Deserved.
Did they call you from the boat and say, hey, just so you know, we're taking
Yes.
out a prospective buyer?
Yes.
Carter tells me he made plans to meet up with the Hawks later that night. But as darkness descends over Newport Harbor, he gets a troubling message from Jackie.
Hey, Carter, We don't know why we're not back at shore yet. We're still out here on a sea trial, and we really don't know what's happening other than the fact that they're telling us they're still sea trialing the boat.
Jackie says they'll let Carter know when they get back to the harbor.
The only thing was, they never called.
When the sun rises, the well-deserved is moored back in Newport Beach, but Tom and Jackie are nowhere to be found.
When they never turned up, it sends chills up the back, of course.
Up next,
What first alerted you that something was wrong about the boat?
There was a white towel hanging out the porthole on one side.
was the white towel really a red flag?
It was the nightmare of nightmares.
And who is the mystery buyer?
He was the most accomplished liar I've ever spoken to, ever.
They're not calling their friends, they're not calling their family, they're not answering their cell phones, and, you know, something's wrong.